Have you ever been judged by your appearance or where you live? Have you ever felt the pain of being ridiculed for something you couldn't control? This is the story of David, a boy who, even in the face of all adversities, proved that success doesn't depend on wealth. Welcome to the channel Touching Stories. To follow our exciting stories, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications to receive everything firsthand. Here, we tell stories that inspire, move, and make us reflect on the true value of perseverance and hard work. Get ready to meet the inspiring journey of a boy who turned prejudice into fuel to achieve success. David was ridiculed for his poverty, but he showed the world that determination can overcome any obstacle. His story is a powerful example of how difficulties can be overcome with willpower and dedication. Stay with us until the end and discover how David became a successful entrepreneur, surprising all those who once doubted him. This story will change the way you see life's challenges and motivate you to never give up on your dreams. Don't miss out, as every detail of this journey is a valuable lesson that can transform the way you face challenges. David was a boy like many others, but with a difference that at first glance went unnoticed. He lived with his parents in a modest house on the outskirts of town. The house was old, with walls worn by time and a roof that barely held up against winter storms. David knew his house wasn't pretty, but it was the home he loved, full of memories and affection. At school, things weren't easy. His classmates from wealthier families made a point of emphasizing the differences. They laughed at David's clothes, always patched up, and mocked the worn-out shoes he wore. To them, David was just the poor boy, someone who didn't deserve to be taken seriously. The laughter and mean comments were constant, but David learned to endure. Despite everything, David was a diligent student. He had an insatiable thirst for knowledge and often spent hours in the library, where books took him to worlds where poverty didn't exist. His teachers recognized his talent and determination, always encouraging him to keep going, not to let the cruel comments get him down. David also helped his parents with work. His father was a mason, and his mother, a cleaning lady. From a young age, he understood the value of hard work. On weekends, he accompanied his father to construction sites, carrying materials and learning about building. It was hard work, but David saw it as an opportunity to contribute to his family and to learn something new. The hardest moments for David were when he saw other boys with their new toys and brand-name clothes. He wanted to have what they had, but he knew his reality was different. Instead of lamenting, he focused on his studies and the dreams he had for the future. He knew that with dedication, he could change his story. His few true friends always supported him. They saw beyond appearances and recognized David's worth. With these friends, David shared his dreams of one day becoming someone important, someone who could provide a better life for his parents. These friends were a foundation in his life, helping him to keep hope alive even on the darkest days. Every day, David became more determined to overcome difficulties. He knew the road would be long and full of obstacles, but he was willing to fight for his dreams. Poverty was only a temporary state. His ambition and determination, however, were permanent. David was ready to transform his life, proving that a person's true value isn't in their possessions, but in their inner strength. In high school, David's challenges intensified. Social pressures and prejudice became more severe. While his classmates worried about parties and dates, David focused on studying enough to earn a scholarship. Jokes about his financial condition became crueler, but David kept his head held high, focusing on what really mattered: his future. There were days when David came home exhausted, both physically and emotionally. He heard the laughter and mean comments echoing in his mind. Sometimes it was hard to find the motivation to continue, but he remembered the sacrifices his parents made for him. They worked tirelessly to ensure he had the opportunities they never had. This gave David the strength to keep going. Additionally, David faced constant financial uncertainty. At any moment, an emergency could further destabilize his already fragile situation. There were times when the family barely had enough to eat, and the lack of basic resources was a painful reality. David did his best to contribute, working part-time jobs, from mowing lawns to making deliveries. Every penny saved was a step closer to his dream. School also presented academic challenges. David had to work twice as hard to keep up with his studies because he didn't have the same resources as his classmates. While many had access to tutors and quality study materials, David made do with borrowed books and sheer determination. He spent sleepless nights studying, making the most of every available minute to prepare for exams. One of the toughest moments was when his father had a work accident and was unable to work for several months. The family's income, which was already limited, was drastically reduced. David found himself in the position of having to take on even greater responsibilities. He increased his work hours, took care of his father, and continued to study diligently. This period tested his resilience and determination to the limit. Emotional challenges were also significant. Feeling constantly belittled and judged affected his self-esteem. David, however, found solace in books and the few friends who had always been by his side. He knew that his current circumstances didn't define his worth. With each challenge overcome, his determination grew stronger, and he became even more focused on his goal of building a better life for himself and his family. David also faced a lack of opportunities in his community. Job options were limited, and the infrastructure was poor. He had to fight against discouragement and the lack of prospects that affected many around him. But instead of being beaten down, David used these adversities as motivation to seek something greater. He knew that the only way to change his reality was through education and hard work. Every challenge faced molded David, preparing him for the even greater obstacles that lay ahead. The resilience he developed would become one of his greatest strengths on his journey to success. The turning point in David's life began when he received a letter that would change everything. It was the acceptance letter to one of the country's most prestigious universities, with a full scholarship. The effort, the sleepless nights, and the determination were finally bearing fruit. This was the beginning of a new phase, an opportunity for him to show the world what he was capable of. At university, David found himself in a completely different environment. Although he still felt the financial difficulties, he was surrounded by inspiring professors and peers who shared his passion for knowledge. For the first time, he felt he was on an equal footing, that he had the same chances as everyone else. He devoted himself intensely to his studies, seizing every opportunity to learn and grow. David chose to study business administration, a field that had always fascinated him. He excelled in classes, not only for his intelligence, but for his work ethic and the unique perspective he brought. His classmates respected him and admired his story of overcoming adversity. He got involved in projects, internships, and began building a network of contacts that would prove valuable in the future. During his second year of college, David had the chance to participate in a study abroad program. He spent 6 months at a renowned institution in Europe, where he gained a global perspective on business and developed skills that set him apart even more in the job market. This time abroad expanded his horizons and strengthened his conviction that he was on the right path. Upon his return, David was invited to participate in a national business plan competition. He gathered a team of equally dedicated peers, and together they developed an innovative project aimed at addressing a significant social problem. Hard work and creativity paid off when they won first place, receiving not only a cash prize, but also recognition and validation. This success opened many doors for David. He was invited to internships at major companies and received job offers even before graduating. But more importantly, he realized he wanted to create something of his own. The experience in the business plan competition had ignited an entrepreneurial spark in him, and he decided he wanted to build a company that made a difference. With the help of some investors who believed in his potential, David founded his own startup shortly after graduating. It was a period of hard work and learning, but he was determined to make the company grow. And it did. In a few years, David's company became a reference in its sector, employing dozens of people and positively impacting the community. David's turning point in life was not an isolated moment, but a series of achievements built on a foundation of resilience, hard work, and a clear vision of where he wanted to go. David began his career at a small technology company where he had the opportunity to apply all the knowledge he acquired in university. His work ethic and skills quickly caught the attention of his superiors, and he was soon promoted to a leadership position. Within a few months, David became the youngest project manager in the company, managing teams and complex projects with impressive skill. David's success did not go unnoticed. Big companies began to vie for his talent, offering tempting opportunities. However, David decided to remain loyal to the company that gave him his first opportunity. He believed in the company's mission and wanted to contribute to its growth. Under his leadership, the company managed to close significant contracts and expand its market, consolidating its position in the industry. David had a leadership style that inspired his team. He believed in the power of collaborative work and always encouraged his colleagues to give their best. His human and motivating approach made everyone feel valued, resulting in a highly efficient and dedicated team. David stood out not only for the results he achieved, but also for the way he achieved them. Over time, David became interested in entrepreneurship. He realized he had innovative ideas that could transform the market. Alongside his work at the company, he began developing a business plan for his own startup. He knew it would be a challenge to balance both, but he was determined to make it happen. For months, he worked tirelessly, often sacrificing his free time to pursue his dreams. Finally, the moment arrived. With the support of some investors and friends who believed in his potential, David left his job to dedicate himself fully to his startup. It was a risky decision, but he was prepared for the challenges. He started with a small team in a modest office, but with a clear vision and a well-defined strategy. His startup focused on innovative technological solutions to everyday problems and soon attracted market attention. The first few months were tough, but David didn't give up. He faced numerous obstacles, from financial difficulties to fierce competition. However, his perseverance and adaptability made the difference. He worked hard to build a solid foundation for his company, and over time, the fruits began to appear. Important contracts were signed, and the startup began to grow. In a few years, David's company became a respected name in the industry. He continued to innovate, always seeking new ways to improve and expand his services. His visionary leadership and the quality of the solutions offered made his company stand out among others. David not only achieved professional success, but also became an example that with determination and hard work, it is possible to overcome any obstacle and turn dreams into reality. David reached a level of success that many only dream of. His company, now one of the most recognized in the technology sector, continued to grow exponentially. He not only led the company with innovation and strategy, but also became an icon of success and perseverance. His achievements were acknowledged in business magazines, international conferences, and industry events. David had become an inspiration to many. David's success was built on the pillars of resilience and vision. He always remained true to his values, believing that true success goes beyond profits and numbers. He implemented social responsibility programs in the company, helping underserved communities and providing education and employment opportunities for disadvantaged youth. David wanted his story of overcoming obstacles to be a catalyst for positive change in the lives of others. The awards and recognitions began to accumulate. David was named Entrepreneur of the Year and received numerous awards for innovation and leadership. He was invited to speak at universities and conferences around the world, where he shared his journey and inspired the next generation of entrepreneurs. His name became synonymous with success achieved through merit and effort, a living proof that adversities can be transformed into opportunities. In addition to professional recognition, David also experienced significant personal growth. He rebuilt bonds with his family, providing them with a comfortable and secure life. His parents, who always believed in him and supported him, now lived in a spacious and modern home, surrounded by comfort and love. David never forgot his roots and always made sure to give back to those who helped him along the way. Despite his success, David remained humble, and a special event was organized in the city where David grew up, a high school alumni reunion. The reunion promised to be a joyful occasion, filled with memories and stories from the past. David, now a successful entrepreneur, decided to attend, not only to reconnect with old friends, but also to show everyone how his life had changed. Upon arrival, David was greeted with looks of surprise and admiration. Those who remembered him as the poor boy facing prejudice could hardly believe the confident and successful man standing before them. He exchanged greetings and smiles, feeling a mixture of nostalgia and fulfillment. The hallways of the school, once the stage for so many difficulties, were now the backdrop of his personal victory. At a particular moment of the night, David encountered some of the classmates who had ridiculed him the most in the past. They approached him with a mixture of curiosity and discomfort, clearly remembering the cruelties they had inflicted. To their surprise, David welcomed them with open arms and a sincere smile. He knew that holding grudges would lead him nowhere. His life was proof that he had overcome all those barriers. One of the former classmates, Tom, approached with a look of regret. "David, I don't know how to begin to apologize. I was so cruel to you. I can't believe the man you've become. It's truly inspiring." David responded calmly, "Tom, life gives us challenges so we can grow. What we went through in the past helped me become who I am today. I hold no grudges. The important thing is that we can all learn and change." David's sincerity and generosity impressed everyone. The conversation continued, and many of the former classmates began asking questions about his journey, interested in understanding how he had managed to transform his life so radically. David shared details of his journey, from the initial sacrifices to the most recent achievements, always highlighting the importance of resilience and education. During the event, David also had the opportunity to thank the few friends who had supported him during the difficult times. He made sure to acknowledge the positive impact they had on his life, showing that even in the darkest moments, there was light and hope thanks to sincere support and true friendships. The night ended with an emotional speech from David. He spoke about overcoming obstacles, perseverance, and the true meaning of success. "If there's one thing I would like everyone to take away from tonight," he said, "it's that we should never judge someone by their circumstances. Believing in yourself and working hard can change any destiny. I am living proof of that." The reunion with the past not only provided David with much-needed closure, but also inspired many of his former classmates to reflect on their own lives and attitudes. David's story became a powerful reminder that everyone has the potential to overcome their adversities and achieve success, regardless of where they start. David has become a symbol of overcoming and inspiration for many. His story, from a difficult childhood to becoming a successful entrepreneur, deeply resonated with everyone who heard it. He often shared his experiences in speeches and events, always emphasizing that true success comes from persistence, hard work, and unwavering self-belief. In one of his most memorable speeches, David concluded with a message that left everyone moved. He said, "Life is a journey full of challenges. We all face obstacles and difficulties, but it's our choices and attitudes that determine our destiny. I believe that each of us has the power to change our own story. Believe in your dreams, work hard, and never let circumstances define who you are." David also emphasized the importance of education and community support. "Education was my greatest ally," he continued. "It was through education that I found opportunities and built my future. We must value and invest in education, not only for ourselves but for future generations. And never underestimate the power of support from friends and family. They are the foundation that keeps us strong when everything seems to be falling apart." At the end of each speech, David issued a call to action, encouraging his audience to take concrete steps to improve their lives and those of others around them. If you know someone who's going through difficulties, be the light in that person's life. Offer your support, share your knowledge, be an example of perseverance. Small gestures can make a big impact. Did you enjoy David's story? If you did, subscribe to the Stories That Touch channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our exciting and inspiring stories. By subscribing, you'll be joining a community of people who believe in the power of perseverance and hard work. Additionally, I recommend watching the video "He Went Looking for Flowers in the Forest and Discovered an Abandoned Plane Inside," which is appearing on the screen now. It's an incredible story that will surely leave you speechless and inspire you even more. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family so that more people can be touched by these stories. Leave a comment telling us how my story impacted you and share your own experiences of overcoming. Together, we can create a wave of positivity and change. Thank you very much for watching this far. Remember, never give up on your dreams, keep fighting, and always believe in the power of your determination. Until next time,